Okay, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I'm going to try anyway. Obviously this is what the dreads look like. Okay, here's one of the regular ones. This one I coated with silicone. I don't know if you can hear it. So, silicone, no silicone, no silicone. Okay, I'm going to take this thing off. Alright, so that's the dreads just in natural state. I got to seal them a little bit more, but that's in their natural state. I don't know if you could hear what I was saying or not. This one is the natural state. Obviously I got to wrap it tighter, seal it. This one, I just put a coat of silicone, some dragon skin, number 10 actually, it's soft silicone. I put it over the top of it, and while it sealed it, it also stiffened it up quite a bit. So obviously, but I mean it's still, I guess it's the kind of movement you want, depending on what you want. I mean, here's one of the foam ones. Okay, here's the foam one. Here's a regular one. That's not a good example. There's the regular ones, you know. Here's the foam one. Here's the silicone one. So you put them together. You know, silicone actually has a little bit. So this is the actual hair one with just silicone over it. So I think a mixture of both of them might be kind of cool. But anyway, that's what I'm going to try. I don't know. I kind of like it with the natural look, really, myself. I kind of like the way it moves. And I'm just going to seal them and put some rings on them. And I'll use this for one of my spare heads. I mean, I really like it. And I've got a whole bunch more of these. I can get anybody, if they want these types of dreads, I can get them made up for you. I have somebody that I deal with that makes them up, and I can get them in any length, any color. You tell me what you want and I'll get them made up for you. I don't know the cost on it yet. I'll have to check and see with her, see what the cost was on it, but she does a really good job. So I'm really happy with them. Like I said, I just want to seal them a little bit more so they don't fray so much. So that's the dreads. Okay, now I suppose everybody's wondering about this guy here. Alright, well what I'm doing with this is I took my dummy and I took mask making latex and I completely painted it on my suit that I have here. So there's my suit, you guys have seen this. And then I took and I painted the latex on this as well. And then what I did is I just attached that to the suit. So now it's stuck on there. I mean, it's on there really well. Okay? So then I took, and that's what the duct tape is. It's all holding it on there. So now what I did is I've gone and I started sculpting all of this. What I tried to do first was take my actually fish fillet knife and try trimming it. It just didn't turn out right the way I wanted it to. It was just too ragged. Then I tried my 4-inch grinder and it just ripped the stuff. It wouldn't do it. So I tried my palm sander, and again, if you go one way it worked, but you couldn't go the other way and you couldn't get in and get the detail. So what I ended up doing is I got this hot foam knife that you use for cutting styrofoam, and I've been using this and it works great because now I can go in there and create, you know, the different textures and things that I want, start sculpting it in and molding it. I have to do the arms yet and the legs obviously, and you know, and I have a little bit to do on the back of the legs, but once I get it all coated in this foam, then I'm going to go through and sculpt everything in. Okay, after I do that, I've been going back and forth with two different ways to do it. One, I was thinking about doing it the way I showed you, where I sculpt the different sections, little sections, you know, like a section here, a section there, like that, and do what George, P.T. Greek said, and just kind of lay up the sections. And then we had a good phone conversation, and he told me how to go in and patch those sections. I was going to use silicone, but obviously with the latex, you don't want the silicone anywhere near that because it just won't cure. So I was going to do it with the latex and create the sections and come in and piece them all together and do the abs and just play with it and do like that. Well, as I was doing that, what I did is I took this black foam that I've got, that I was actually going to coat this with originally, but it just didn't work. So what I did is I've got this black foam, and I took and I cut out these little scales, if you will, and then I put them on the sander and kind of cleaned them up and tapered the edges and cleaned them up like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make up a template, and I can get it cut out where I can just stamp out a bunch of these, kind of like a die, and I'll stamp out a bunch of these in different sizes and shapes and stuff. And then what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and I'll sand them and clean them up and rough the edges up. And this is a really nice foam. It's a pliable type foam. It's got a good feel to it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just lay these up on here. And then that way I can just take each scale and just stack it on here however I want and create whatever look I want. I'm going to have big ones and small ones and things like that. And then I'm just going to start stacking those on there. Like when I come down over the abs, I'll have littler ones that come down over the ab areas. And then I'll come down here like this and just start stacking these scales. And then I'll just glue these scales on all over. And then, depending on how that looks, I'll probably seal all of that with just a thin layer of silicone, or either silicone or the latex, probably latex. I'll just seal all that with that thin layer to kind of block it all in and lock it all in. Then I'll do my paint job on it. And then, you know, I'll just be able to take this thing. Right now, it's got a zipper that I've got a good seam in the back here. So I'll just peel that thing off of there then, and then be able to put it back on and good to go. So that's my plan. Whether it's going to work the way I want it to, I don't know. It keeps changing. Every time I do something different, it keeps changing on me. But I'm liking the way it's looking now. I'm starting to like the process of it. And as long as I get the rough shape in here and get the muscle tones that I want on here, then once I lay them up with all these little scales on here, like I said, I think it's going to look pretty cool once I get it done. This is completely a different piece. And then you've seen the one that I'm sculpting, the head that I'm sculpting. That's the head I'm probably going to end up using on my piece. I still need a name for that, the head. Either that or I've got the Goliath head that I might end up using on this. I don't know, I haven't decided. But that's kind of where I'm going with it. So we'll see how it works. All right? All right. Stay blessed, everybody. Start slinging clay. Well, you know what I mean. All right, be blessed.